Hi, I'm Jack Canfield. And if you read the news every day, the world can seem like a bleak and terrible place. But there are so many reasons to be optimistic about the future. And today I'd like to share some of my favorites. Every day we're bombarded by horrible stories in the news and on social media, from natural disasters and terrible acts of violence to climate change, international conflicts, and so much more. And no wonder so many people feel hopeless and depressed. But it's important to remember that for every problem we face as a society, there are many brilliant people around the world working on solutions. And some of these solutions are so incredible, they give me a great deal of hope for the future. For example, let's talk about the environment. As you probably know, deforestation is a huge problem around the world. Trees produce oxygen, they remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, and they combat air pollution. And they help prevent flooding and desertification. But in so many countries, forests are disappearing at an alarming rate due to unsustainable logging and farming practices. Well, one ambitious startup company has decided to do something about that. Biocarbon Engineering has developed a tree planting system using remote-controlled drones that are capable of planting up to 400,000 trees a day. Think about that. Now, right now, the company is involved in a project in Myanmar restoring the country's coastal mangrove forest. But this technology can be used to restore forests all over the world. And that's really exciting stuff. Now, if you're concerned about the amount of plastic garbage piling up in the environment, you'll be glad to know that there have been some really exciting developments in recycling technology. For example, companies such as Brightmark Energy in Indiana and Renewology in Utah have perfected the process of recycling all plastics, including the low-grade kinds that you couldn't recycle before, and turning them into fuel and other high-value petrochemical products. And best of all, they're able to do this without causing any emissions that are toxic or any additional pollution. And on top of that, there have been huge advances lately in the field of plastic alternatives. For example, this year at the London Marathon, instead of handing out plastic bottles, organizers gave runners water in edible pouches made from seaweed. And there are companies creating single-use plastic items such as food containers out of biodegradable sugarcane fiber, hemp, cactus, corn, and even algae and crustacean waste from seafood processing plants. Now, all of these companies are dedicated to cleaning up our environment and solving the problems around plastic pollution. And I think plastic pollution. And I think it's going to be really exciting to follow their growth and their impact. And then there are incredible advancements that are being made every day in the field of renewable energy. The cost of renewables, such as solar and wind energy, is dropping faster than experts ever expected, which means more countries are adopting it in favor of more polluting forms of energy. In both Germany and the UK, for example, renewable sources now regularly supply more than half the country's energy, while Costa Rica has been running almost entirely on renewable energy for over a year now. So although we are facing huge challenges in terms of pollution and climate change, huge progress is being made on those fronts. And the same is true in terms of society. For example, despite what the news media would have you believe, did you know that the amount of violence and war we experience around the world has steadily decreased from decade to decade? It's true. If you look at the number of people who died from war and terrorism in the 1970s, it's much, much higher than the numbers today. And the same goes for violent crimes and property crimes. Both in the US and globally, those numbers have dropped significantly over the decades. And yet if you watch the news, you'd think those numbers are skyrocketing. Now, meanwhile, the amount of freedom and well-being people enjoy around the world, that keeps going up too. And the number of people living in extreme poverty keeps going down. And more children have access to clean water, food, medicine, and education. So life really is getting better for the vast majority of us. It's just that it can be hard for us to see, as most news stories tend to focus on the negative rather than on the positive. So the next time the news gets you down and you feel like everything is hopeless, remember that you're seeing only one small side of the story. Amazing work is being done every day to find solutions to the problems we face. And the stories are there if you look for them. Now here's my challenge for you. Take the time to do some research online to find one really positive news story that shows you how people are working to make the world a better place for everyone. And then share that story with as many people as possible. It's time for all of us to focus on the solutions instead of the problems. And by the way, here's a great resource for positive news and new solutions. It's called the Optimist Daily, and you can sign up free online at optimistdaily.com. Now, you might also want to read the book Abundance, The Future is Better Than You Think by Peter Diamandis and Stephen Kotler. Okay, so I'd like to hear your thoughts after watching this video. Tell us about a positive, uplifting story that you know about in the comments below. And thank you for watching. And remember, everything in your life will only change for the better when you change. Now, if you found this video helpful, make sure you like it, share it with a friend who may need it, and make sure to subscribe to my channel for more videos like this one. And for some additional resources on reasons to be optimistic about the future, make sure to visit my website at JackCanfield.com. And thanks again for watching. And click the link on the screen for a free gift.